activity 4. This is an idea that is a consequence of having a government that protects person and property. And the main idea here is kind of captured in that opening quotation from James Wilson, that each of us have rights, and that we want government to protect these rights, and those who are weak and artless, meaning people who have kind of modest abilities to earn money, government will protect whatever small amounts they acquire, whereas others who have greater abilities to earn money, government will also secure those. So what you end up with is some people being wealthier than others. That's kind of the key idea of this activity. So it could be different degrees of activities, like you have one basketball player that's better than another, so that person will make more money, and government will secure the money that each acquires. Or different abilities, like a government professor will make less money than a movie star because the services of a movie star are more in demand than that of a government professor. So the movie star will make more money than a government professor or other professions, and that's the way the system works. Whatever the amount of money you make, that's what government secures for you. So in letter A, when Jefferson says that he wants to see an equality of rights maintained, that means government will protect the property of each one of us here, and that will result in some people having the same amount of money as others, and others having more than others. In letter B, same thing. Madison saying that people of different or unequal faculties of acquiring property, there will be different degrees and kinds of property will result from that. Adams says in letter B that inequalities of riches cannot be avoided as long as nature gives inequality of understanding and activity. So again, and this will be in letter C also, if you have a free country where there's liberty and government protects the person and property of all, there will be inequality of wealth. Hamilton says that directly in letter C. Inequality of wealth will exist as long as liberty exists, and it will result from liberty. Now in letter D, you have a critique of this system. Howard Zinn is very upset with the U.S. In particular because there is inequality of wealth. Some people in this country are very wealthy, others are not doing as well. This is a Marxist critique of the United States. It may be valid. That's something you need to think about, but I just mainly want you to see that that's part of the system of liberty, and if you wanted to do away with that, you would need to do away with this part of liberty. I would also point out in letter D that Zinn, if you pay attention to his family history, his parents were very poor, but he himself is doing quite well, and so this system does permit working your way up financially, which is a good point that he doesn't point out in letter D. Activity 5 is important, and this is the last activity we're going to do in this video. The reason why it's important is because for your midterm writing assignment and also for your final, I'm going to ask you to do a liberty analysis. And what that means is you're going to look at a Supreme Court case from the ones provided in the book, and you're going to analyze them from the point of view of each of the meanings of liberty. So here we're going to analyze these 4 cases from the point of view of protecting person and property, government doing that. So in letter A, you have the case of Gonzales versus Oregon, which is a case the state of Oregon made it legal for there to be doctor-assisted suicide. Now, you may think that this is should be a freedom of choice issue, and we will talk about it in that context later. But just looking at it only from the point of view of protecting person and property, Gonzales winning would promote this meaning of liberty because it would protect the life of the individual who wants to take his or her own life. In our tradition, suicide is considered a violation of the right of personal security, and it doesn't really matter if someone else comes to hurt you or you want to hurt yourself. It's both considered wrong because you're harming a human being. Letter B is a little bit complicated because of the disagreement of what a fetus is, if it's a person or if it's not a person. So we're just going to handle this taking both sides into account. So if the fetus is a person, then Wade winning would result in greater protection of person or property because the government would be protecting the life of the fetus. If the fetus is not a person, then this meaning of liberty would not apply to this case because there's no person to protect. Letter C, Brown versus Board of Education, it does not apply to this case, this meaning of liberty, because nobody's harming another person in any way. This is a matter of equal access to education, and I just want to say that when you analyze these cases, it's not which side you would like to see win. I think all of us want to see Brown win so that there would be equal access to public education at the same schools. But just from the point of view of person and property, it does not apply to this case because nobody's harming anybody else. Letter D, Russell versus Bush. In this case, again, a controversial one. If you're only looking at it from the point of view of government protecting person and property, Bush winning would promote this meaning of liberty because in this case you'd have terrorists being the ones who are trying to harm Americans. And this Rasul was apprehended in Afghanistan when we sent troops over there after 9/11, and the goal was to protect Americans from terrorist attacks. So that's the end of this first meaning of liberty, and then next video we'll go on to the second one.